Opinion: should Trump definitely yank Brennan's security clearance after what he just said? I am of the opinion that once you leave office, if you abuse your former position by going overtly political to support a party or to enrich yourself, your security clearance should be revoked. I have heard that it is normal for an official to keep their clearance for 3 or 4 years after departing office. Sometimes longer. A security clearance paves the way for an official to land a high-paying position once they leave office. It was never intended to be used to leak information or dig up dirt on opponents. Once that trust has been violated, their clearance should be negated immediately. In the last week, President Trump has threatened to yank the security clearances of those such as former CIA Director John Brennan, former FBI Director James Comey, former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe and James Clapper, as well as others. Why? Because they have hit the media circuits to conduct political hit jobs against a sitting president. Something unheard of until the Trump presidency. All of those in question served under Barack Obama. These people are actively undermining Trump no matter what he does. Media outlets such as CNN and MSNBC are paying them huge sums to be political analysts. They still have their high-level security clearances in place, which allows them to access sensitive data and information pertaining to the Trump administration. It should not be allowed. Not only has John Brennan called President Trump treasonous, he has obstructed and maligned Trump at every turn. The latest concerns tariffs. He is demanding a smarter and more sophisticated approach to Iran and China. Using tariffs as a blunt force instrument against allies and partners is not only short-sighted but also plays into the hands of Russia and China, Brennan wrote on Twitter. Same is true with bombastic rhetoric against Iran. We need to be smarter, more sophisticated, more strategic. Russia, China, and Iran are all enemies of this country. 2 of them are brutal communist regimes and the other is a murderous theocracy that is the greatest purveyor of terrorism on the planet. So, of course, Brennan would defend them and attack the President of the United States instead. Brennan didn't stop there either. He replied to the President on Twitter when Trump called tariffs the greatest. It's obvious here that Trump is trolling his opponents, but let's put that aside for a moment. Either a country which has treated the United States unfairly on trade negotiates a fair deal, or it gets hit with tariffs, Trump wrote. It's as simple as that. I am not a fan of tariffs. I believe they mired us in World War II. However, it may be time for them. For far too long, we have been on the short end of trade on the global stage. It should be a level playing field and Trump is trying to accomplish just that. I personally support what he is doing here. If you are wondering why the strongest nation in the world would allow this to happen over time, I have one word for you. Corruption. Certain politicians get very wealthy by looking the other way on trade. They are paid handsome sums by other countries if they will allow trade to be in favor of their country as opposed to America. Not caring who gets what as long as they get a big payday, these individuals grease the skids for those such as China to unequally benefit from foreign trade with the United States. When Trump came on the scene, that all changed and those who have been compromised are in a panic over it. These people comprise what is known as the swamp. Remember, after Trump's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Helsinki, Brennan called it nothing short of treasonous. Not only were Trump's comments imbecilic, he is wholly in the pocket of Putin. Republican patriots, where are you? He tweeted. I have never seen a former official behave in such a treacherous and vicious manner in public against a sitting president. Brennan's remarks have ticked off Senator Rand Paul, RK, who said he pitched the idea of revoking the former official's clearance at a Monday meeting with Trump. Public officials should not use their security clearances to leverage speaking fees or network talking head fees, Paul tweeted out following the meeting. Reporters in the White House press room were stunned at the announcement that the revocation of security clearances was being contemplated, with one journalist asking White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders if Trump is simply suppressing the free speech of officials for saying things about him that he doesn't like. I think you're creating your own story there, Sanders said, adding that Trump doesn't like that people are politicizing agencies and departments that are specifically meant not to be political. President Trump is seriously considering yanking the security clearances of Brennan and other former officials. I think he should do so immediately before even more damage is done here by what I call enemies of the state and of Americans in general. After Brennan went off on tariffs being imposed by the president, he has shown that he will do anything to smear Trump. Even if that means supporting countries such as Russia, China, and Iran. He should definitely have his security clearance revoked after what he just said. In fact, it should have been done long ago. The White House is looking into revoking the security clearances of former CIA, FBI and IDNI chiefs, arguing that their baseless accusations against President Trump amount to monetizing and misusing the privilege.